With rising assessments, interest rates going up, more homes hitting the market, inventory higher than it's been in several years, many homeowners are sitting out there asking the question, what's my home really worth in this real estate market in 2025? On today's episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, we're going to dive into how you can find out 100% real truth about exactly what your home is worth in today's market. Hang on, y'all. This one's going to be good. Here we go. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where we bring you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to get anywhere on the planet. You get it right here from your friends at Elite Realty Group. We are based out of Morristown, Tennessee, East Tennessee region, the Lakeway Area, and we bring the real estate information to you guys.
We put the real in real estate.
I like that, man. You cut me, you got me, but that was a great cut in right there. We do put the real in real estate. Again, we love doing this. We've done it now for several years. It's been one of the most enjoyable experiences that we have been able to do, and we've made a lot of friends. We've made a lot of connections. We've talked to a whole lot of people by doing the Elite Realty Group Podcast. I'll skip the introductions. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Ready to dive in on a good one today.
You know, just here a while back, we did an episode here about what went down in Hamblen County, Tennessee.
Yeah.
About assessments. Man.
Tax assessments.
Flip it out.
Took over the interwebs.
It really did.
For a long time.
About those assessments. But, you know, after, kind of social media wise, I'll go back here for a minute. When you kind of get your algorithm in one thing, it kind of just goes wild with it.
Yeah.
And we wasn't the only places in the country who just had these assessments.
Right, yeah.
And people flipping out about it. Like there's a lot of people sitting out there right now that just got a home assessment. Again, rates going up.
Tax bills going up, man.
Everything's going up. We say it all the time on here. But people's looking out there and they're going like, we got all kinds of calls. Like people calling into us saying, okay, I just got my assessment. If I can sell my house for this, you come and do it right now.
Right.
Okay. And we've had to kind of put the brakes on and be like, well, that really don't tell you what your home value is.
Yeah.
But it's led to the question, I think, of a lot of people around the country asking the question, well, what is my home really worth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've not checked on that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
What is my home really, really worth? And I think that's a topic of discussion that we can help the people.
It's a good one.
I think that we can help the people, and everybody's asking about their home value right now. I think simply because of all of those property taxes jumping, home equity's high. They've heard us talk about the market shifting, more homes on the market. Has it went up? Has it went down?
Yeah.
Many people's thinking now about like, okay, I do think a lot of people are also, if you would say, they're kind of adjusting to the new real estate market that people's not seen. Not that we've not seen this before. It's shifting to normal. Let me go ahead and put that plug in.
Throw it out there now.
But I think that's causing many people to think about selling. I think people sitting out there thinking might be a good time to refinance. And then there's some people just might want to know, where's my home stand? Like where do I stand?
Right.
But you can't always, because all sources are not created equal. Thus, we'll put on display your recent new tax assessment. I don't think that's a good example of what your home's worth.
No.
But because not all places are created equal, it's asked that question, and we need to answer, how do I really figure out what my home's worth? Okay. Now let's start out with a little bit of controversy today. Okay. Let's get them riled up right out of the gate. Okay. Right off the bat, let's get it going. Let's talk about these online home evaluations, and we'll throw in there some of these tax assessments that's even came down the pike. Let's talk about those things as we start this episode off, and I kick you off with the controversy, my man. Let's talk about those that ain't always created equal.
Yeah.
What about these online evaluations?
Let's just call them by name: Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com.
Right.
All these places.
Somebody who supposedly drove by in their car and looked at your house and
Google,
said, it's
I don't
worth
know.
$9 million.
Yeah.
You know.
Those things are just data. That's all it is. I mean, here's what I tell people. You got to think, again, you just gave a good explanation. We're in East Tennessee, the Lakeway area. Zillow's in somewhere in California.
We're moving. They move around a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at now. You think that person sitting behind a computer desk in California can tell you what your house is worth? Now, if you're in California, maybe. Maybe. Okay? But no, like realistically, they don't know what's going on right here in the real. I'm talking about realtors want to give you real stats.
Right.
They don't know. Zillow, realtor.com, they don't know about updates or upgrades. Now, I want to say this because I thought about this while I was reading over this. I'm not always telling you that Zillow is going to be too high.
Sure.
Or that Zillow is going to be too low.
Not at all.
Because just like Zillow don't know if you've got nice interior upgrades, they also don't know that you went in and went crazy one day and kicked holes in the wall.
Correct.
And you've let cats pee all over the house.
Like
they don't know
the
that.
Cat pee comes
yeah, they don't know that.
No.
So you can't look at it and say, well, Zillow said my home's worth $389.
Right.
And I go over there and look at it, and I'm thinking, you beat the holes in the walls. You've let cat pee everywhere.
Sure.
And this house is not worth $389.
Right.
But now Zillow said it is.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is those are more of what I would call a starting point.
Sure.
And not the final destination. You know what I mean? Like we got to get down to real factual numbers. No. But that's the biggest thing. You're going to see this. I mean, there's so many stories and tales that we could talk about for days about what Zillow says. Again, that's what I want people to hear. I don't want you to hear that Zillow is too low. I don't want you to hear that Zillow's too high.
That's a great point.
Zillow is just giving a number.
Right.
A number. They are taking data from a big, broad area and compacting it with stats that they've pulled from online about your house.
Sure.
And I've heard people say, Zillow has pictures of my house.
Right.
How they do that?
Right.
Well, most time they use old pictures that, it was listed before. We do have a thing called Google Earth where you can pull a street shot image and see that. So again, Zillow has never sent anybody into your house. Exactly. They've never secretly sent a pest control guy in to take pictures to send to Zillow.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
But again,
well,
to wrap it up, Zillow is not neither high nor low. It's merely a starting point.
And I think you've raised some good points there that I'd like us to dive a little bit deeper in. The first thing is you talked about is, somebody sitting at a computer in California is not going to know about your house. If we just really break it down, they ain't nobody sitting even at a computer no more. This is all AI.
Right.
Okay. It's all done by the computer itself. Now, this is what I'm going to say. And we have this conversation with people a lot of times, and we're going to get into how you're going to be able to find your home's value here shortly. But we get into this. You made the comment of they're just looking at data that they pull everywhere, and they pull it from all over.
Right.
Their data pool is broad. It's a big pool from what they do. But this is what I'm going to say to you. Data, and if you got a lot of it especially, okay, the less data, the less this is true. But the more data you have, you can honestly arrange those pieces any way you want to arrange.
Any way you want them to go.
You can make that picture any way you want to make it if you got a lot. Okay. That is even true to us locally. Okay.
Absolutely.
When we sit down with somebody and we're trying to look at what a home is worth and give them, to our knowledge, the best market range that they need to be in, to be 1,000% truthful with you, we can make that data say whatever we want. Again, if we want it higher, add a higher piece of data. It goes up. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, it ain't rocket science. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so that data can be made anything that you want it to say.
Right.
Okay. That's what you have to look at when you look at all those sources out there, what even is the data? The main thing that you got to make sure happens is the right data is used.
Right.
Because it's like what you said. The interior of that house and the exterior, as far as that goes. I mean, there could be massive upgrades that you made to both of those places that AI don't know about that.
Right.
It does not have that capability to do the walk around, the walk through and say, my goodness, you've took what was an entry level home when you bought it, and you've added square footage. You've updated the cabinets. You put granite countertops. There's now a full size walk-in shower. I mean,
they don't take into account the location of where you're at as far as like the draw for the local area, that like you're in the prime spot, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they don't take that into account.
Sure.
Now, again, we're talking about when we go talk to people and their Zillow's estimate, and we're telling them it's worth more.
Right.
The problem is when we got to go and say, you've kicked holes in the wall.
Yes.
You know, and those people are like, but Zillow says it's worth this.
Right.
We have to be real. Like you said, we are using true, real, actual. We've walked in it. We've seen it. We've smelled it.
Yes.
We're seeing that. And that's going to either come out good or bad for you.
Sure.
But we are going to come out and be real about
it. And again, you can make the data say anything you want to make it say. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good segue to what I want to talk about next is let's talk to these people about what actually and how their homes value.
Mm-hmm.
What is that data that we actually need to look at in 2025? Not an AI program, not ChatGPT, not any of those things, but what do we as a realtor need to look at to help these people determine what it is? Mm-hmm. I'm going to get us rolling, okay? And there'll be multiple things here we do, but I'm just going to get us started. We got to go to the here and now market, okay? Yes. We've made the comments a lot lately to a lot of different people. We've even made them on them shows. The market is shifting.
It is.
Okay, the market is shifting. 6 months ago data, 1 year ago data, 2, 3, 5 years ago data, it's outdated.
Yep.
Okay, we don't need to be, we're not there.
Right.
Because the market's moving, it's shifting. Mm-hmm. We need here and now data. That's something you need to hear this area and now what is going on. There's 3 specific areas of data we need to pull, okay? We need to pull active current homes listed for sale, okay? Mm-hmm. Why do we look at that? That's your competition, okay? Those people are trying to do exactly what you're wanting to do, and that's sell their house. So we need to look at that. Not that that's going to be the end all.
No.
But we need to look at that, okay? Because that's going to give us a piece of data, a piece of it. The second place we need to look at, and these are growing rapidly, okay? A second piece of data we need to look at is we need to look at the expired market.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know what expired is because we haven't had them for 5 years. Yeah. Well, we're getting them now.
Yep. We are.
We're getting them now because a lot of people are not looking at the right data and they're doing the wrong thing for their house and it ultimately expires. So we need to look at the expired market because these people tried to do what we're wanting to do. Notice I said tried. They're not trying. They tried and they failed. Didn't work out. We don't want to go down that road. I think you will agree if you want to sell your house.
Yeah.
We don't want to go there. The third piece of data, here and now, data that we need to look at, is we need to look at the people who have tried to do what we wanted to do and they succeeded, meaning the sold data. We need to look at the most recent that we can get sold data. If you're working with a local real estate agent, that is data from 10 minutes ago. They can go on the MLS. They can pull data that just happened. It's fresh, hot off the press, whatever you want to call it. But we need to look at right now sold data, okay? And we need to start putting the puzzle together by using all of that data together to see what your home is worth, what the market value says your home's worth. Add something to that for me when it talks about what we actually need to be looking at to determine data for these people.
Well, again, everything you just said, the active, expired, and that, but you also have to look again beyond those things. I'm saying because this is even relevant for us as realtors, is that there's a lot of areas in our area that there's some older homes, older neighborhoods, and now
meaning the homes, right?
Yes,
Gotcha.
Older homes, and there's builders that have bought tracts of land and they're building custom built homes, very similar or very close, like within half mile of these older homes. So if I'm just strictly looking at data, it's going to pull, like you just said, it pulls an area.
Sure.
So I can't use a custom new construction home price and compare it with a 1962 home.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's going to, obviously, that new construction is really going to influence
the data
that I'm using there. Again, we are surrounded by lakes.
Sure.
We have a lot of lakefront property. I cannot compare a house that sits on the lake to a house that sits in the middle of town.
No.
So
I don't care if they are the same size.
I don't care if they're the same size. I don't care if they go to the same school.
Right. Yep. Doesn't matter.
The surroundings play a role. The little things, like I said, the curb appeal.
Yep.
How you take care of your property.
Sure.
Those things play a role. I don't care if your house was built the exact same year with the same amount of square footage. If house A takes care of their house more than house B does, house A is worth more.
Absolutely, it is.
It's worth more.
Yes. And so you look at a lot of those things, it goes back to, you talked about earlier, the condition. Okay. The condition of the house. And people miss this so much. And, you have to just come back to this, and you just sometimes, as the old saying goes, you just got to be honest. Okay. You
just got to be honest, man.
Got to be honest that home is in a worse condition than this home. That home is in a better condition of this home.
Right.
And you go back to things like fresh paint, clean floors, as you said, lawn cut, flower beds groomed, pruned, whatever you want to say with it. It makes a difference.
It does.
It really makes a difference in everything. So when I'm talking about here and now data, that's what I'm talking about. You got to take all of that data from those actives, those expireds, those solds, the condition, the location, the amenities, the neighborhood, and you got to start putting all that together. And you got to look at and break it all down, and sometimes just be honest. We have actually told people before, look, let's get in the car. Get in my car. Let's go over here and look at this house that is your competition.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You're going to see why that house is priced for more than yours. And then on the other hand, we've done it the opposite way. Your house is so much better than the houses that we are able to compare it against, because you have really took care. You've took pride in your home. Everything lines up. You're going to get premium dollar for this house.
But there's this conversation. This is the reason why in other podcasts we've been talking about homes that go on the market and they sit on the market.
Sure.
Is because people are not taking the time. I'm saying this as far as sellers and as far as realtors. They are not taking the time to see that you can't just look at a number on a computer.
No.
You have to go see this thing for yourself.
Right.
You have to be able to do that. So again, I'm going to say, I know a lot of times sellers will automatically pick the listing agent who will say, I will list it for $100,000 more
Absolutely.
than so-and-so said they would.
Absolutely.
Are you wanting your house listed or are you wanting your house sold?
Right.
Because there's a difference.
Right.
If you want it sold, we got to find the numbers.
Sure.
We got to dig down and we got to find the real actual numbers.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. You look again, appraisals, tax assessments, Zillow, Google, all those other places. They all use different formulas and different,
how they come up with their
things
numbers.
of how they get that. That is literally irrelevant to finding the value of your house.
Yeah.
You need here and now data information, and you need to be able to look at that, because all of that data, the wrong data, like you said, it can make a difference.
I know just from us as realtors, when we look about pricing a house, I mean, there's 3 or 4 different places we look to come up with numbers from different sources to put together a package of this is what this place could be worth. And still, end of the day, a lot of times it's just we got to go there.
Sure.
We have to go there and we have to see it.
Yes. Now, let me throw an insider tip here, because this is a big one. If you're out there today and home value, what's the market value of my home right now? Listen to the words that I'm about to say, because it's going to be very, very beneficial to you to get the true value. I'm not here today to blow fluff to you and say, oh, I can get you whatever. We can make it do whatever. We can make it do whatever. But that's not what the truth needs to be told.
Right.
If you want to know the value of your house, whoever you get that from, listen to me close. Whoever you get that from, make them show you and explain to you how they got that.
How they come up with that number.
Where did this come from? And explain to me how you're taking what you're looking at and then coming back to me and telling me my home value. Mm-hmm. You need, and if they can't show you and they can't explain it to you, wonder if they really can determine the market value of your home. You have to ask that question. I don't care if that's an agent from Elite Realty Group or an agent from Banana Real Estate. Doesn't matter to me. They should be able to show you and explain to you, here's what I'm seeing. And you know what we encourage people to do? We encourage our agents, we encourage sellers. Now let's discuss this.
Yeah.
Let's now take this data. I'm not the smartest man in the world. We're not the smartest people, although we're pretty doggone good at what we do. But let's discuss this. Mm-hmm. I'm open to hear from you.
That's what I'm saying. That's where we got to be. That's where we got to be open. Adults.
Yeah, let's get on the same page.
We have to have a conversation.
Sure.
Because I hear a lot of people say, well, the realtor told me that because this house 2 blocks down was listed at this, then they could get this for mine.
Absolutely.
And they don't even know what the house 2 blocks down, I'm saying the seller don't even know what the house 2 blocks down even looks like.
Right.
Or they have seen the outside, but they've never went to the internet, typed in an address, and saw that this place is just so nice. You know what I mean?
It's immaculate.
Or they don't realize that it's got 4 acres.
Sure.
You know, they don't even realize that.
Right.
So make sure that what you are looking at, that you know as an adult.
Sure.
We got to be real with each other here. This house, actually, that is very comparable to my house.
Right.
Or you can look at it and be like, that house ain't even close to as nice as mine.
No.
Or that's a whole lot nicer than what I got.
That's right.
We just have to be real about it and have a conversation.
Sure. It goes back to make them show you the data and explain the data to you. They should be able to do that. And it should be very easy to have a discussion then about it. Because what we try to do when we do this, again, I'm not trying to find, and I'm just going to use a number, that your house is worth $362,253.47.
Right.
I'm not trying to do that.
No, I'm not dialing her down that deep.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get the range, the value range. I try to give you a high, and I try to give you a low, and I try to tell you, here's what you can expect.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is probably what's going to happen, because other things to me that I think people overlook a lot of times, okay, is there is this thing, and we're going to get off track just a little bit, but that's okay. But your home, getting your home sold sometimes involves more than just the price.
Oh, yeah.
It's the concessions, it's the flexibility, it's the repairs, it's all that comes into that. And so you should be able to look at all that data. And again, if your home is in a price range and a point that we could look at the data and we could look at you and say, okay, here, Mr. or Mrs. Seller or Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're looking at this data and here's what these homes are selling for, but everybody in this range has paid 4% in concessions.
Right.
Well, that changes things, y'all.
It does.
That changes things. And so that's why I'm going back to, if you don't hear nothing we say today, show you and explain to you how that they get that data. Now, here's what I want you to tell the people and we're done. Okay? How can they get a reliable home value for absolutely nothing to them? Tell the people.
Well, we can speak for ourselves.
We are speaking for ourselves right here, 100%.
But I will tell you that most realtors across the country offer the same service.
Absolutely.
Okay. But we do a CMA, okay, for you to tell you what your home is worth.
Sure.
We are going to use that data like we were just talking about. This is all important, is what he just said. We can all do it, but find somebody who will do it, show you, and explain it.
Absolutely.
And they just don't come out and say, I think I can sell it for X.
Right.
Show me how you can do that.
Absolutely.
That's by pulling those numbers.
Absolutely.
Okay. Again, ideally, I want somebody who's going to come to my house. Come see it.
Oh, no doubt.
Don't look on paper and tell me what it's
Wouldn't
worth.
you say you have to do that?
You have to.
Really.
You have to.
Tell people that you have to.
I tell people when they call and they're just like, well, I mean, just ballpark. Well, that's what you're going to get. Ballpark.
Yeah.
This is going off of a computer screen.
Sure.
This could be high. This could be low. I don't know. I can tell you really close if I come there and look at it.
Right.
So again, but these are no strings attached. Like I'm literally just trying to give you your value.
Sure.
Okay.
That's it.
Do with it what you may.
That's it.
But that's what you need to do. If you want to find out, again, we tell people you are making a big decision when you decide to sell your house. We tell people when they're buying their house, they're making a major decision to buy a house.
That's right.
You're making a big decision to sell your house.
Sure.
Do we really just want to leave it up to, I think I can sell it for this?
Right.
Or do you want somebody that can lay the papers out in front of you and say, after digging through the market, this is what we have determined. I'm like Mike, I like to tell you a high. I like to tell you a low, and then this is what I would suggest.
Yep.
I'm good with anywhere in this zone here.
Absolutely.
But this is where I would suggest looking up on, again, the trends, all this stuff that's going on in your area. This is what I would suggest.
Yes. And
what do you say?
That's what I was going to say. That's then where the discussion that you talked about earlier, let's all be adults, let's sit down and talk about it. That's where now we can literally have a real life, factual based discussion. There's nothing to argue about.
No,
I don't, I think that so many times, I'm going to get off just a minute, but that's okay. But I think so many times, for whatever reason, I honestly don't know. People think that a lot of times realtors want to cut their home value.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm just going to be totally transparent here.
Say it. It needs to be said.
That makes zero sense to me. Because realtors are paid off of what they sell your home for. Now, I want to make as much money as I can. I work to make money.
Yep.
Thus, wouldn't I want to get as much as I can get out of it? And so when we have the data, we can show it to you. You can see what we're looking at. You see it all. And you can look at it and say, you know what, now it makes sense to me. I understand why my home is worth this. I get it now. And we can have that decision and together we can come up with, this is what the home value is. This is what don't rely on guesswork. This takes the guesswork out of it. It takes my feelings out of it, my emotions out of it. And the same goes for you as a seller. So don't rely on guesswork. You want to know the value of your house, don't Google it. Don't ask Jeeves or whoever you want to. Don't worry about those things.
Ask Jeeves. That's still a real thing.
That's a real thing. You go to a local pro. They will sit down with you. If they won't, go to another pro. Mm-hmm. They shall show you and explain to you. This is what the market says. Your home's worth.
I've said it once. I'll say it again. If I need a tooth pulled, I ain't gonna get on Facebook.
You're gonna
ask somebody to come pull my tooth.
You
know what I mean? That's just real. I'm not going to get on there and say I need somebody to come pull my tooth 3:30 today. And some old fellow show up with a pair of chin locks. I'm gonna go to the dentist. He's a professional.
100%.
I'm gonna go. If I got back problems, I ain't gonna ask somebody to do it. I'm gonna go to a back doctor, and they're gonna fix it.
I like it.
Go to the professional.
So don't.
Here's the good part. It don't cost you nothing.
No,
don't cost you.
At least
nothing.
here it don't.
Yeah,
for us,
that's
we
right.
ain't charge you for it. So if you want to know that, you're in the Lakeway area, you're in Tennessee.
If you're in our network, we're like insurance companies now, buddy. If you're in network,
call us. Holler at us. We'll do our best. If we can't figure it out, we'll put you in contact with somebody who can. Hopefully this has been good information for you. Let's let you know some things, because again, a lot of people are sitting out there right now thinking about, their home values, these assessments and all this stuff's got a lot of people thinking the opportunity to get a second, like a home equity line of credit. There's a lot of opportunity out there right now by knowing your home's value. So again, if you're in our network, as Dave said, reach out to us and let us know. As far as this episode, that's all we got to say about that today. We're glad that you guys took the time out of your busy schedule to come and listen, watch, hang out with us. Whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on, make sure you subscribe, follow, hit that like button. We appreciate every single thing that you guys do for us. You literally spread us around the world, and we appreciate you all doing that for us. Until next time, or one of our daily little tidbit episodes, until we see you next time, we hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Over and